You're listening to For Film's Sake with Irving, Twitterless Joel, and Jose. Oh, right, and me, Chris. Enjoy the show. Hi, hey, hello, what's up? What's going on? A new episode of For Film's Sake coming your way. I'm Chris, and I'm here with the merry gang of movie chums that life has given me. Irving is here.
Hello, everybody.
Also, Twitterless Joel is here.
Hi, glad to be back in English again.
And on my hypothetical right is Jose.
Hello, hello.
Fresh off a viewing of Spider-Man 2 from 2004. New in theaters. Okay, not new, but 20th anniversary
not new,
edition.
but exactly. 20th anniversary, Spider Mondays. Every Spider-Man every Monday, so yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a fun topic here. We did this topic a few years back in the old beta version of our show, which is the tradition rewatches, movies that we watch on a similar date every year. Everybody has those, right, guys? You guys have those.
I do. I have plenty of movies that I rewatch all the time,
Oh,
especially in special occasions.
yeah, me too. Everybody does. And Joel, you too, right?
Not really.
Oh boy, we're gonna need to talk about that. Well, let's go with that. Why don't you have a traditional viewing thing?
I think it has to do a lot with my lifestyle. I mean, it is not different than anybody else in the world. I work like everybody else. I have my chores. I have my um my obligations, for life. But in my case, like when what I work is teaching, right? Is particularly tutoring lessons, giving tutoring lessons for students after school. And when I'm really like involved in that aspect of my life, again, like when I'm giving tutoring lessons to students, movies tend to go to a second, like they're not my priority
Okay,
in a school season. So that
okay,
goes from January to May and August to December. And I think it's that. I
oh,
think it's that most of the year I'm working, so movies are not a priority for me except in summer and December.
okay,
And that's why I don't have like a special occasion movie that I
okay,
watch
okay.
on the year.
That's
Yeah.
understandable. That's understandable. But there isn't one particular date where you have to watch a certain movie. Not one.
I was trying to think if I do something in summer when it's more accessible to watch movies for me, and I don't have one. Like I
Okay,
thought
so
on my
now the
birthday or
goal.
something like that, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that because now the goal here is to create a movie tradition for you.
I mean, I, if
You you mentioned you
yeah,
mentioned your
those who have heard us from 3 years ago might remember that we tried this once and it didn't work out.
what okay, so
So
here's what
yeah.
we can do. We can
Hmm.
start with your birthday. I recently had mine. I'm going to mention it in a moment. You can start with your birthday. Pick any favorite movie that you have that you never get tired of watching and watch it on your birthday at some point. Bada bing, bada boom. You got yourself a movie tradition. There you go. Thank you, Chris. You're welcome, Joel.
I might try this year, but I cannot promise anything because I'm a very irregular person, so I move with the flow
We don't call
in
you
a certain way.
Twitterless Joel for nothing. Yes, I recently came off my birthday tradition rewatch, which is something that I actually started last year. It's not old. I'll mention in later my oldest movie tradition rewatch, but uh, it came from a letterboxed user, follower who wrote because they watch Casablanca on their birthday every year, and I kind of like the idea of pick a favorite movie that you love and enjoy, and you watch it every year on your birthday. That way, no matter how good or bad your birthday is, you can always look forward to it. So, on my birthday some weeks ago, at the time of this recording, I watched Drive. Nicholas Winding Refn, uh, Ryan Gosling. Great movie, a favorite movie of mine that I've seen 10,000 times. Never get tired. And just a few hours before my birthday ended, I popped it in. So that's one of the many I have. So that's what I do.
I love the soundtrack of that film also.
Cliff
Really good.
Martinez. That's the one of the gold standards in my view. That is, and the songs too. The needle drops, amazing synth. Big fan here. So, Jose, tell me one of your tradition viewings.
One of my tradition viewings always happens on Christmas. One of the first films that I was watching since I was a little kid was the Robert Zemeckis version of A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Um, that tradition went for a few years. Also complementing it with you will laugh about this one. The film of Christmas. I think the name of the film is very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas.
Right.
That was like a tradition on Christmas Eve, on the early morning of Christmas Day, and that was until I was like 16. Now I'm 24 years old. So since 2021, I started viewing instead of those films. I started watching It's a Wonderful Life from 1946, then from the 1940s.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful, beautiful film. One of my favorite films of all time. And Christmas is about giving. That film, one of the messages is about giving, and that's very, very great. And a weird title that I also watched on Christmas Day
Yeah.
is a recent one. I think you know it, Chris, and everyone here. But for the listeners, it's a recent one because the film was was released recently, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That film is David Lowry's The Green Knight.
Ah,
That film,
that's kind of a Christmas movie,
yeah, because
right?
everything that happens on the film is during the Christmas occasion.
Right. Right.
Christ is born. Christ is born indeed. That one of the first lines of the movie. Like, what the heck? It's a Christmas movie.
It's a
I need to
Christmas
watch it.
movie.
And
Yeah.
personally, about the themes, it's one of my favorite films of all time. Also, uh, but again, that happens during the Christmas
Sure.
days. So why not watching that film on
Yeah.
Christmas? That great film, Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander.
That's a
I mean,
classic date that people choose to do a traditional rewatch. I
yeah,
think Irving has one of those too, right, Irving?
Yes, I do have. I do have. I do have a lot too.
So,
This.
but you have a Christmas one, right?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like
Yeah.
Jose was saying, on Christmas Day, I also have my movies that I normally rewatch. But in the last, I would say like maybe 7 years, I've been watching, counting the day that I saw it for the first time. Well, not the specific date, but I saw it when it came out on that day, and it is La La Land. So I
Ah, yes.
rewatched La La Land. I've been making it the tradition, like every single Christmas day, like in the morning, in the afternoon, or even in the evening. I do that, but I also tend to go on Christmas Day every single year to the movies to watch, uh,
Whatever
any
comes out.
any films. Yeah, whatever comes out, but also I'm very intentional. I tend to choose a film that either it's opening that day, that it has this, kind of like reputation to be an Academy Awards friendly film.
Sure.
I try to do my best to do that. But yeah, I think lately it's been La La Land on December 25th, and I also try to carry that tradition of going to the movies on Christmas Day. But
That's
there are
nice.
many others, Chris, like your birthday. I don't necessarily watch a movie on my birthday in particular, but I know that around summertime there are a few films that I rewatch. One of them
Okay.
is The Dark Knight, Terminator 2, because I saw it in like at the movie theater when I was very little, and it came out, and I do remember that time.
So
I
so do
also
you watch them because they came out on that day during the summer?
so I yeah, to answer your question in a very easy and short way, yes. I tend to kind of like honor that time when it came out because I think that some of those are kind of like these traditional summer blockbuster films. And
Right.
for me, the intention of like rewatching a film around a certain time, it's because the movie reminds me of that time. Not, it
Right.
doesn't necessarily needs to be that, for example, I'm watching a movie on Christmas Day because the movie happens on Christmas.
Right.
I tend to watch Die Hard around the month of
Right.
December
Right.
um, as part of my own tradition. But also during the summer, I tend to watch films that are like summer blockbuster films, like The Fifth Element, Armageddon, and not because I'm on the Bruce Willis train, but I also love watching The Sixth Sense, also around kind of the summertime. Um, yeah, The
Yeah.
Rock with Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, and Ed Harris,
Yeah.
Michael Bay film. Michael
Well, that's
Bay,
a lot of
best film.
tradition rewatches in the
Yeah,
same area
I
of
tend to do
the.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I tend to do it. That's why I said I have plenty. And sometimes I don't necessarily need to watch them and sit down and, kind of like with my popcorn watch it. Sometimes I keep it in the background because some of
Sure.
those movies, I know them by memory, line by line. So
Yeah.
it's just that. I think it's a very fun thing and it reminds me of the power of rewatchability too. And that's it.
Yeah, and I also have, you mentioned the month of July. I also have a July tradition myself. I have
I know you do.
anybody who knows me well knows
Yeah, I
that
know.
in the month of July, it has to be like within the first week. I have to watch Gone Girl because that is the date when the events took place. First day gone was July the 5th, the night after the July 4th holiday. So I have to watch. I will have to watch it then, and I've been watching that in the month of July for many years, and I never get tired of it. So that's another one of those. My oldest, and this is, I like how we can turn these into categories, whether it's Christmas or summer time. Like your one's oldest one, my oldest movie tradition is watching Moneyball, the Brad Pitt film about the Oakland days and his system using what we now know as analytics. I've been watching that one. This is going to be, I think, the 10th year of me doing that. I've been doing it, and it's always either at some point within the month of August before September. I always watch it when the baseball season is actually winding down. I'm a big baseball fan, for those who don't know. And when the season is winding down, I kind of pop that movie in at some point, and it's always a fun watch. So I do that with Moneyball. So
It
gee, I hope
also could be interesting to rewatch it like for this season, like when the season is starting, because it started like a couple of weeks ago. It's
yeah.
also like a really great choice to watch some baseball movies like 42, the Moneyball also. I
And I'm
really
glad you
love
mentioned that.
Moneyball.
And I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that because uh, another type of tradition I've adopted is that before opening day, I pop in a baseball movie, but it's not the same baseball movie, so it's not a tradition rewatch. It's more like I'm celebrating that day with a movie of that ilk. Like, for example, last year I saw 61, and this year I actually watched two baseball movies before the season began. I saw 42, the Jackie Robinson story, and A League of Their Own, directed by Penny Marshall. So those are, and I have I have many more that I can sort of rotate. So every year I kind of rotate and do something different. Go ahead, Joel.
You being such a big sports fan, you must have more sports tradition movies in your pocket, right? Like football, basketball, something like that.
I have another that this is that I do every year, which is Draft Day. It's a Kevin Costner film directed by Ivan Reitman, and I watch it on Draft Day. NFL Draft. It's a movie about the NFL Draft, and I'm one of those people. That's one of those movies that to to the masses, it's like but I love that movie, and that's a movie that I watch. I think I should have more. Actually, I don't have enough sports movie traditions, but I have to save my movie traditions for other things, so it's not a fully sports dominated thing. I already do the Moneyball and Draft Day, like those are the two ones that I have set. So,
And correct me if I am wrong, Chris. The draft day of NFL is on these days, right? At the time
uh,
that we are
yes,
recording.
yes. At the time that
So
we are
so
recording, it's actually uh, we're recording. Yeah, it's actually this week at the week of our recording. So yes,
yeah,
uh,
it's time to watch draft day on these days.
Yeah,
yeah,
So
yeah, that was what I was going
I
to say.
gotta
Yeah.
I
yeah.
gotta go. Yeah, I gotta take it out of the storage and yeah, queue it up soon. It'll be fun. So yeah,
Awesome.
I do that one. Um, so what other types of movie traditions do you have, if you have any?
In my case, this I watch at least once a year in a random day, but I really love Back to the Future. I watch it annually, but in a year I watch it on January. Next year maybe I'll watch it on summer. So, but
Mm,
that's a film that I at least once a year I watch it. I really love it. One of my favorites ever.
that's a
And
good one.
also, uh, earlier we were talking about the Christmas traditions. I also want to watch for the next years as a tradition. The I started in 2023 to watch it. I watched it when it was released on back in the movies in
Hmm
2019. Greta Gerwig's Little Women. Uh,
hmm
it also happens most of the story during winter time,
And it came
and
out, I think, on
and
Christmas Day, right?
yeah, that's the so that's one that maybe besides It's a Wonderful Life and The Green Knight, maybe I will be watching it and during Christmas Day or at least on Christmas time. So maybe
I,
it's a start of the new tradition.
yeah, I just found it a little bit funny that you know we associate these these Christmas movies, right? And we know it is related to Christmas because Christmas it's mentioned during the movie. But you mentioned snow, and I found that really funny because Puerto Rico, the list that it has on winter is snow. So the fact that we Puerto Ricans like to watch Christmas movies that are, well, in the snow winter season, right? We a lot of snow. It's
Right.
funny to me because we don't have snow at all. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's that.
It's really funny
At,
to say that. Yeah.
it's aspirational, almost. Depends on who you depends on who you tell it to. It's aspirational. I watch snow because I wish I had snow.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Well,
I wanted to add.
Irving,
mhm.
Irving can tell us about that.
Well, yeah, I do. I have been experiencing snow since 2014, especially around that time. But I wanted to add that this is not, and it is a good segue because it is not necessarily that I do watch this movie or rewatch it a specific date, but it happens to me that every single time that I am under a snowy day and I'm at home, I don't know, but I feel this urge to watch or rewatch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Uh,
And if you have seen it, you probably know why. I think
Oh
it's
my
probably one of
God.
the
weather
snowest movies
plays.
ever.
Yeah,
I just
Yeah.
weather
can't.
plays a huge. Yeah.
I can't believe that tradition, Irving. That's
My God, love it.
that's
And
that's
listen, it could
better.
be it's insane because the movie is very bleak at
Yeah.
times and all of that, but I don't care, man. I just love so much. I love that movie so much, and I love the filmmaking and the crafts of that movie that I can watch it like any day of the year. However, when it's snowing, it I feel like I need to watch it. And before The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, there was another movie that made me do the same thing, and this one is Sleepy Hollow. So Tim
The
Burton's
Tim
Sleepy
Burton one.
Hollow. Yep,
Hmm.
that's
Ooh,
correct.
so underrated film, by the way.
Yeah, and way, way, way before I think I moved here to the States. This is too cheesy, but yeah, on July 4th, I used to watch Independence Day.
Oh well, but that's.
That's a classic. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
Classic.
even if you don't consciously do it, you could just turn on the TV, flip around, and you're gonna find it playing on about three different networks.
Yeah.
So you almost can't you almost can't escape it.
Yep.
uh, One that I might start doing because I just watched this for the first time last year in 2023. One that I might start doing is at some point during October, Halloween season, I might start do watching every year. Uh, this is a lot of people do this. The Nightmare Before Christmas. I saw it just for the first time this past October, and I loved it. So I
Nice.
might do that every year. It's great, and a lot of people do it, obviously, but uh, I'll join. So, for those of us, sorry, Joel, for those of us that have tradition rewatches, is there one that we're thinking of doing? Is there one that we want to add? Let me go first so I can sort of, uh, give an example. I was thinking a few days ago because uh, at the time of this episode, NBA playoffs are beginning, and it is a big time for, betting and for all that sort of fun stuff that a lot of people like to do. I'm not a better, just in case. Um, but I thought maybe for the month of May, because I think that's when this movie takes place. I was thinking maybe I should start a tradition rewatch of Uncut Gems,
Ooh,
right?
that's a good one.
It,
That's a
Yeah,
yeah, I
really good
mean,
one.
good pick,
yeah,
Chris.
I think it's a second. I think it was a second round matchup in the playoffs that year, and I'm not spoiling anything, but I just love how this is a fictional story, but they use a real life event that happened to surround the story, and then one of the players involved in that actual real life game is an actor in the damn movie, which is Kevin Garnett. And it's one of those things where it might be a nice rewatch, even though the first time I saw it was on a Christmas Eve, which that day it would also be good to rewatch because I saw it on a Christmas Eve and I enjoyed that time when I saw it. But that movie takes place around the month of May, so I was thinking of maybe doing that, so I might do that. Is there one for any of you guys that you might think about doing? Joel, have you thought what could be a good movie for you to watch on your birthday?
Well, I thought it was left out of this question, but since you're asking me, I mean, I could watch Spirited Away. Spirited Away is my favorite animated film of all time,
You
and
go.
yeah, but again, I'm not promising anything. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Good Lord, help me. Uh, so, Jose, is there, or Irving, whichever one has an answer for me here? Is there
I have
any?
an answer.
Go ahead.
I forgot. I forgot to tell you that I also watched on Halloween the movie Halloween, the John Carpenter's one.
The first one.
The first one.
That's a great one.
Really great movie.
Yeah.
So I want to start a new tradition to watch horror films on October, at least one film every day of October from the first day to the
Ooh,
31st. That's a great one. I watch Halloween on October 31st,
there you go.
but every day, that's something that I was thinking about it for a long time. I'm still thinking about it for a long time. So that could be a new tradition coming
Yeah.
soon. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe not. I will think about it. So yeah.
Godspeed. If I were you, I would plan it out. I would make a list of which movies would you be interested to see, and you can just, check them off every time you see. Because if you do
And
it
I- and
without,
and I want to do it because there's a lot of horror films that I have not seen. I haven't
there you
seen.
go.
And but there's also some horror films that I really love. So the rewatches should count on every single day.
Yeah,
So
you can.
rewatches count.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, rewatches count. And the rewatches are the easiest ones because those are already movies that you like. I mean, I already know you got The Lighthouse penciled in somewhere for October.
Yeah,
That's a
you
given.
you know. I saw
For those that don't
I
know, I'm gonna air out your dirty laundry here. Jose has like 7 copies of The Lighthouse on Blu-ray. No, it's not
that's an
7.
exaggeration. So
It's more like how many? It's like 3, right?
three, but I gave one of those Blu-rays to Joel. So
Oh, so it used to be 4. See what I mean?
yeah.
I can confirm that he gave one of his copies to me, so that's true.
That's a good plan.
I
We'll
I I
help you.
s- I see The Lighthouse more like a fantasy film, but it also has some horror elements that I really love.
That
So
movie's terrifying. Of
yeah,
course it can be horror.
it's terrifying. Yeah, you're right. But it's also like a fantasy. It's like a blend
Sure.
between the fantasy and the horror, the thriller.
Yeah.
That's what makes that film awesome and one of my favorites films ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Irving, is there one potential tradition viewing that you have in mind?
You know what? I will stay with watching films that probably came out around December time that were uh, you know, awards contender and for me, like awards contender is the film like All of Us Strangers. I think that I could
Yes.
make a tradition of watching it in the month of December. However, I will probably minimize and reduce the amount of times that I'm going to rewatch that movie
Yeah.
because I care about my mental health. And
Yes.
I will probably watch it once a year, maybe around that month. I think that it's something that, first of all, it's kind of a Christmas movie.
In a
So I
way.
think it'll be fitting. Yeah, in a way. So I think it would be kind of fitting. Yeah. And honestly, believe it or not, I've been considering doing something that I couldn't do last year, and it is to choose July 21st as my own Barbenheimer day, in which I will try to watch those two films on that day.
Oh,
You know what, Irving? I was
I couldn't do
thinking
it.
the same
that's
thing.
a good one.
I
That's a
was
I
good
I
thinking
mean,
couldn't
the
choice.
do
Yeah.
it.
same.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
agree.
do it when they came out. Like I watched them in two different occasions, like two different days, and it was the same weekend. But I wish, I could have, I was allowed or able to do it, like to watch them in
yeah,
the same day, like some of you did.
that's a great one. I'm surprised was I'm so well. I'm pretty sure people are gonna do it. Are gonna do it. They're gonna make it an unofficial movie holiday.
Yeah, they're gonna do it, and I think it's all fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Okay, but the important question is,
Yes.
which one are you gonna watch first, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I'm gonna end up in a high note, so I'm gonna watch Oppenheimer first and then Barbie.
Oh,
Okay.
when we did it, we wanted to do Oppenheimer first because that was the priority. And I'm
Do
doing
you
a hand.
remember, Chris?
Yeah, Jose and I, we did it. We did the
Yeah.
Barbenheimer, and that was the priority. I'm making a hand signal as I say this because that
That was
was
also
like
my priority.
that
So
was
I
like
think that
we had to secure the bag, and once that was done, it was like okay, we can watch Barbie after,
I think
and it
that
was
nine
great.
hundred and fifty million dollars are pretty much a evidence of that a lot of people did the same thing. That they
it
chose
was
that as the priority.
it was the priority for a lot of people, is what Irving is saying.
Hmm.
All right, so let's finish up here, but first, let's go and do some final shots. Let's hit it.
Hulk! Forget it! How dare you!
Final shot time. So, Irving, what's your final shot?
Final shot is pretty easy one. Joker, the 2019 Todd Phillips film, should have not had any Oscar nominations and should have not had the two Oscar wins that it had.
Oh boy, mine is related to yours, so uh, I'll leave that. No, you know what? I'm gonna say mine now because it's related to yours. There are two sequels coming out this year. There are many sequels coming out this year, but the two sequels that I am not excited for are the second Joker film and the fourth Planet of the Apes film. Come at me. Jose, what
Fist,
is your final shot? Oh, sorry. Go
fist,
ahead, Irving.
fist bump, Chris. Fist bump.
Yes. Cancel me. Jose, what is your final shot?
my final shot is God bless French cinema to acquire the the exhibition rights on France for the next Francis Ford Coppola film
Mm,
after Cannes. So Hollywood, I can't believe you you are doing this to the man that gave you The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, The Godfather Part 2. I mean, do not support AI and support this man cinematic craftsmanship, please, and
yeah,
thank
Francis Ford Coppola gave the film industry the '70s, basically. I mean, you think of the
you. That
best.
was a legendary run. I mean,
You think of the best 50 movies of the '70s, and Francis Ford Coppola is going to have a bunch of them within that number. So yeah, that is a fumbling of the bag by Hollywood there. Joel, what is your final shot?
This one is going in Spanish. People, gente, voten por Maripili. Bye.
Why? Just why?
oh,
And on that note, we're going to end the show. Thank you for listening. And I will go yell at Joel for doing that. And we are out. Thanks for listening. Find our episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Also, follow our Instagram for FilmSake Pod.